33 seconds.
Hi.
30,
Y'all ready, Coach?
Sure.
I'll let them sit down. Get started. Okay, welcome into the Michigan Wolverines post-game press conference. We're joined by two student athletes, in Jordan Hobbs and Greta Kampschrader, and by head coach Kim Barnes-Arico as well. A few housekeeping notes. If you haven't been with us yet this week, to please silence your phones throughout the portion of the press conference. Also, please provide your name and media affiliation before asking any questions. If you're on Zoom, please just use the raise your hand function. We'll get to you after we get to questions in-house first. Photographs are welcome, just no flash photography, and then no recording of the press conference via your phone or camera as well. And with that said, it is time for Coach for an opening statement before we get to questions for just the student athletes.
Well, I thought that was an unbelievable game. Just back and forth, back and forth. Had to match up with one of the best post players in the country, being undersized, and I thought both Greta and Jordan did a phenomenal job. But I think, you know, I listened to Jordan at this podium a couple days ago just say, you know, it has to be the will to win it at the end of the game. It has to be the grit. It has to be, you know, the perseverance to figure out who wants it more. And I thought Jordan Hobbs was not going to lose that game today. She just gave everything she had, and we were able to really get going in the third and fourth quarter from outside of three. In the first quarter, we were 1 for 10, I think, to start the game, and I think we just became more comfortable and made shots down the stretch. But it was a refuse-to-lose mentality for sure.
Okay, with that, we'll open up the floor to questions for our student athletes first.
Jordan, since you were shooting well early and the rest of your team was not, what were you kind of doing to try to push out that confidence that you had from shooting that they were struggling with? I'm sorry, I'm struggling with words.
You're good. Yeah, I mean, I think just telling them that, like, if they're missing them, then the percentages are the percentages. They're going to make the next one. And I don't think anyone was really that worried in the first half. Like, we've been in that situation so many times this year, so I think it's prepared us really well to handle it. Just thinking back to, like, 2 weeks ago playing Illinois, we were down 5 or 6 with 3 minutes left and ended up winning that game. So I just think everyone stayed really poised throughout that time, and it enabled us to come back really well and have the confidence in the second half.
And then for both of you, since you are seniors, what does it mean that you know you're going to get to put that uniform on again?
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, like, you know how it goes throughout this tournament. Every time you put the uniform on, it could be your last. So just having that mentality going into the game, like Coach said about Jordan, like refusing to lose. You know, because I see the seniors on the other team, and I know how they feel when the clock runs out and they know it's their last game. So it's just an extra piece of motivation. Obviously, we love playing together. We want to keep this going as long as possible, and we know we have the ability to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I can't lie that there were some of those thoughts going through my head during that game, especially when, you know, they were up 10 in the third and things just weren't going our way. But thinking that I get to wear Michigan again tomorrow or on Saturday, no, Sunday, is really special, and I cherish every single minute that I'm in this uniform, in the practice uniform, and in the gear. So I can't wait, and we're going to represent it well.
In the fourth quarter, Taylor Daniels, Michigan Daily. In the fourth quarter, you guys were going shot for shot with Iowa State, trading threes for twos for the most part. You guys have worked on that all season. Just how were you able to execute and stay resilient, just keep shooting even though they're still scoring?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had to continue to find the holes in their defense. I mean, they did a good job at covering some of our sets that we had planned on running throughout the game, but then we started to figure it out, figure out where we needed to move to. They were playing a zone a lot of the time, especially when 55 was in. So once we were able to figure that out and kind of get our groove going, then that was helpful. But yeah, I mean, we've said it all year. If we're going to play 5 guards, then yeah, we might have to trade threes for twos, but in the end, we'll be successful doing it.
I think I said a prayer every time a shot went up too, so that probably helped.
And then how do you feel like you guys controlled the pace throughout the game? When was it something that was a speed that you were happy with, and when was it a speed you were more challenged with?
Yeah, I thought we played really fast all day, and that was something we wanted to do, but I thought at times we got out of control, which played into their favor. Like, we were taking really quick shots. I mean, we shot 33 threes, which is not really like us. Luckily, we were 36%, so that helps. But I think there's a good balance between taking quick shots and open shots and setting up offense. It depends on the time and situation. Like if they've just scored, like getting a better shot than the first one. So I think there were moments of great pace, and I thought we had good pace all day, but it's just kind of playing the game in the situation.
And then early on, you guys touched on this, shots weren't falling, but it seemed like offensive rebounds and steals were really keeping you in the game. Can you talk about the impact of those things?
Yeah, our guards do a great job at getting in to rebound, especially Silas Swords and Olivia got in as well. If they're going to play a zone, then essentially they don't have anybody to box out and they can't really match up on us. So we knew that was part of the game plan, is to get in there and rebound. So we did a great job at establishing that off the jump, and we kind of got away from that a little bit. It was a little bit inconsistent, but that really set the tone at the beginning of the game.
And just your freshmen, this is their first March Madness. You guys were down in the second half. Can you speak to their composure and just their performance and how they impacted the game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think for Sila, it's very familiar for her to be in big games like this. So I think she's like always really calm and collected. But I was really pleased to see how Mila and Liv handled themselves in that fourth quarter. Mila hit some huge shots, and Liv hit the one to go up 5 at the end, and that was probably the most important shot of the game. So just their ability to stay confident through missing some shots early and knowing that we were going to have their back no matter what shot they were putting up, and just knowing that we have confidence in them to continue shooting it.
And then the two of you were matched up with Audie Crooks all game. You've been guarding giant, really successful posts all season, but what made today's matchup so challenging, and how were you able to stick with it?
Yeah, obviously we're not going to outmuscle her. She's a very strong player, and she's skilled as well. But we had to be a little bit more strategic, trying to make her work a little bit, kind of throw some different things at her every time, kind of move around her, essentially to make the passers also a little bit uncertain where they're going to get her the ball. Obviously, she's going to get her points either way. I mean, that's why she's an All-American. But also ball pressure on the passer as well. So it was kind of a team effort to make sure we couldn't get the ball to her. And then we also, early in the game, we were throwing in some help, and sometimes that was effective. At other times, they were hitting threes, so it wasn't super effective. But essentially, the whole game, we were just trying to make them think, make them work, make her work, and kind of tire her out. But yeah, I thought we overall kind of did a good job.
Yeah, I mean, credit to them. Like, they were hitting the skip pass when we were helping in. They were making the right reads all night for the most part. But like Greta said, she's incredibly talented. She's so strong, and I need an ice bath after this one. But yeah, credit to them. Like, they played such a good game, and they fought for 40 minutes.
Brooke Daniels, when she checked in the game right away, she was pressuring their ball handler, making that entry pass really challenging. Just what impact did she have defensively and just all over the court tonight?
Yeah, I think Brooke takes so much pride in defense, and a lot of us think about scoring, and the media cares about points and whatnot, but she has so much grit and intensity behind her. And every time she checks in the game, I'm pumped up because I know they're going to have some turnovers, and I know the pace is going to be picked up, and she's going to get some huge O boards. So she is crucial to our team, and she's found a way to get on the court, and she's been super successful at what she does.
Can you just talk about the will to win? You guys fought through this whole game, through this whole season. What made you be the team that came out on top?
I think we've played some tough teams this year. The Big Ten is an awesome conference to be in to kind of set you up for this. We played some tough teams in the preseason, and we had to take some losses in order to get better, especially being such a young team. And we've played some close ones where we had to fight through to the very end. And I think we've like, for example, we were talking about the Illinois game, which was our last regular season game, and it was kind of the same situation. I mean, we were down at one point, then we made a big comeback early in the fourth quarter. So similar situation. So we've been here before. We know what to do, and then we just take care of business.
Any other questions for our student athletes? No? Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Greta.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Tear-free. Saved it for the
Now we'll start with questions for Coach Barnes-Arico.
Kurt Rallo, Associated Press. Coach Olson, I think, was 1 of 9 to start off, and then she had 4 out of 6 down the stretch. Tough shots. Can you just talk about her ability to just be forward focused there?
Yeah, I mean, that's unbelievable. I'm glad you gave me those stats because I'm going to run inside and tell her how proud I am of her. That's something that we worked on with her all season. When you're a freshman and you come in at this level, she opened up against South Carolina, and she had a similar game, and it really bothered her. But that was the first game of the year, and we said, this is college basketball. It's going to be like that. But we said that's a small sample size, and that's what the kids alluded to, too. Keep shooting it. She's a great scorer. She's a winner. She's a competitor, and she made the biggest shot of the night with the time running out. When she gets to her spots, she's absolutely incredible. So I'm so happy to hear that she didn't let those numbers affect her, and she made her free throws down the stretch. But that's our freshman for you. I mean, you know, Mila didn't make many buckets either in the fourth quarter. She made a couple of them. And Sila is on triple-double watch every single time. So I think that they just compete at such a high level, and they move on from to the next play, even when things aren't going their way.
And then the team as a whole, I think you were 14 of 45 at one point, and then just 12 of 16. What did you see happen in that stretch where you came back from like 9 down with about 3 left in the third?
Yeah, I think, when we talked about this at the timeouts, we were taking quick, not great shots that we could have gotten at any point during the shot clock. And we just needed to settle, and sometimes that happens to us. And they don't understand, then, we're taking a quick shot, they're going down and scoring, the lead is extending instead of us taking the best shot. So it just really challenged them. We felt like we had some good shots. We felt like we just needed to move the ball a little bit more. I mean, Greta was open a lot, and she missed some that she normally doesn't miss. I mean, she was 5 for 10. I think every one of them was really uncontested, and that was probably their game plan because she doesn't shoot at that volume normally in games, but for us, we know what kind of shooter she is. So I think, they just were confident in what they do. And down the stretch, we tried to really put, Olivia Jordan and Sila in 3-player action completely on one side, and then give Mila and Greta the opposite side to either try to go downhill and kick to Greta. So I think we were effective executing our stuff, and I think calling a set kind of settled them. Sometimes we try to play fast, and when we play fast, we take fast shots, and that's not always the best thing. So I think once we were able to settle, we realized that we could get better shots, and we did get better shots out of our offense.
And then finally, Crooks was having a game, but what did your interior defense to do to make sure she didn't take over in that stretch down at the end?
I'm interested to see their fourth quarter stats. I only have the final stats. But just me preparing for them, in the fourth quarter, it's either Crooks or Brown, and they run everything through them. Even in their game the other night, she had 12 points in the fourth quarter. We knew that it was either going to go through her or through Brown, and everyone had to show activity. We did a great job in the beginning of the game, but they wear you down. I mean, that's what they do. They wear you down. We flipped Jordan and Greta's matchup, and Jordan went on her a little bit, and I think that gave her a different type of body and a little bit more activity, and Jordan was phenomenal down the stretch. And whether it was Olivia Olson or Sila Swords that was guarding number 24, she could never get into rhythm. I mean, she took 5 shots on the day, which is tremendous. She averages 15 shots. So I thought we knew, and we've known this all year long. We played against Sienna Betts, we played against Reagan Beers, we played against South Carolina posts. We knew their post was going to score. We just wanted to make sure that we limited everybody else. Now, they scored 11 threes. That wasn't really the game plan, but we were able to make 12. So, I just thought we did a great job on them down the stretch, the fourth quarter and the first quarter, when you needed to.
Hi, Maggie Hendricks with Yahoo Sports. You got a lot of minutes out of your starters and all your points out of your starters. So was that the game plan going in, that it was going to be that heavy with the first 5?
Yulia Grabaskaya usually gives us some great minutes at the post spot. She picked up 3 quick fouls. We thought that matchup would be a little bit better for her than it was our guards. But once she picked up 3 quick fouls, we found that, we were going to keep Greta and Jordan on them. Sila picked up 2 in the first half, and we took her out. But their 2, Brown and Crooks, both had 2 in the first half, and they put them back in. So it was kind of, a game of chess of, okay, what are we going to do here? And, our kids have played those type of minutes all season long. So it's NCAA tournament time. They know that. We needed experience in Jordan and Greta down the stretch, and our guard play from our 3 freshmen is absolutely phenomenal. So we went with the starting crew. The other guys that came in, like Brooke Daniels, was amazing. I thought Macy Brown gave exceptional minutes. So we tried to buy him a couple minutes here and there. Plus, I told them the timeouts are 2 times as long as they normally are. So that was kind of their sub.
Will you do anything specific to have them recover from a game like this? I know Jordan joked about the ice bath.
Yeah, no, they're going in the ice bath right now. They're staying here, and it's nice to play early. You're out of the way, you're done. Our trainer, Christina Fanning, is phenomenal. We've been stretching, we've been doing treatment, we've been doing ice baths, we do it all. But last week, we were a week and a half ago in this position in the Big Ten where we had to play 3 games in 3 days. So our second day was our best game. So that's what I'm going to throw to our team for Sunday. They are diligent about taking care of their bodies and rest and recovery. So we'll be on it for sure.
And then my last question for you. I've seen a lot of people talking about your sweater. Is it like a vintage sweater? People want to know if there's a story.
This sweater has gotten a ton of love. Yeah, put it in print so I could send it to all the people. So this is true story. My daughter is a freshman. My daughter Emma is a freshman on the women's lacrosse team at Michigan. And there's 40 of them, and their parent group is on it. I mean, they are talking every day. I don't have time for it. I can't keep up with it. You should see this cool hat that I bought 2 weeks later than everyone else. But the moms are all over everything. So they found this sweater, and I was like, yeah, I'll take one of them. And I ordered it, and I wore it to the Big Ten, and the parent group chat was like, our sweater's on TV, our sweater's on TV. So I don't know if they all represented the sweater today back home. They had a great win yesterday against USC, which is my niece. It was kind of family and lacrosse. But maybe they all wore this for me today. So that's the sweater story.
That's great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, Taylor Daniels, Michigan Daily. Your team had 12 steals today. I think there were 6 in the first quarter. Just could you speak to the impact of your defense and their hustle on that end?
Yeah, I thought our activity was phenomenal. I thought we were all over the place to start the game. And like I said before, I think they wear you out. Like, we needed to regroup, and we needed to do the same thing in the fourth quarter, and that's kind of what we talked about. It's funny in this game, though, the shots give you energy. The making of shots gives you energy to bring that defense out, and that's kind of what happened to us a little bit. I think we got, once we tied the game and got that energy back, we were way more disruptive on the defensive end. But, I mean, Brooke Daniels is one of the best out there. She probably doesn't get enough credit on our team. If you didn't watch us play and you just looked at the box score and what she brings to our team. Sila had 4 steals today as well. And we were just trying to say, anticipate it, read their eyes, anticipate it, just show activity, show activity. And, 12 steals is a great day for us.
All right. How would you describe the pace of the game? When was it working for your team, and when was it a little out of control?
We knew that the pace was going to be important for us. They just played 2 days ago. They played heavy minutes. Addie Brown played 40 minutes the other day. So we wanted to run as much as we could. It's such a fine line, especially when the lights are on in the NCAA tournament. For most of our kids, it's the first time playing in this environment. What's a quick shot, and what should we hold for? So I think it took us a while to figure that out, and those quick shots weren't falling. So that's what kind of let Iowa State take that lead, and then we got more disciplined with that down the stretch.
Matt Park, Michigan Radio.
You won't make me cry today. I'm over it.
I'm not doing it.
Okay, good.
Can you just tell me the poise of your team in the fourth quarter, where that comes from? Is that just something that was built over the year? I mean, Olivia Olson is a winner. I know she's won back-to-back state titles, and she makes the big shot. But Mila, Olivia, they'd all struggled, and they came up with big shots in the fourth, and Jordan was so good all day. Where does that poise come from your team?
Yeah, you know, a long time ago, I learned the importance of recruiting winners. And, you know, I think back to, like, Hallie Thome's team won a state championship. Naz Hillman's team won a state championship. Amy Dilk's team won a state championship. There's a different type of mindset when you've been in those positions and you've competed against the best for the best and not gone away. Some people that, you know, have been in losing programs or that haven't won, when things get hard or when things get tight, they stop. Our kids don't do that. And for freshmen, like, we try to teach that in our program, but when you have freshmen that come in and have that ability to have ice in their veins, it's absolutely incredible. And Sila, I mean, she won a national championship at the high school level. She's, you know, been in the Olympics. I just think those three guys are such competitors, and they want to win at everything they do. But then when you have someone like Jordan Hobbs leading the way, it's easy for them to feed into that. But they're just winners, and they don't get afraid. They're not afraid of the moment. Like, people are always like, are they afraid? And we saw that in South Carolina. I'm like, are you kidding me? I was afraid for them. And then after the South Carolina game, I was like, oh, this could be something really special here, because they're not afraid of the moments. They want it. They're like, bring it. And there's not a lot of people that are like that. That's what makes them a special group.
Got time for one more question?
Today just was such a gritty win coming from behind in the fourth quarter. You said your team said all season, going through the tough games against all those top 10 opponents early on prepared you for what was to come later. What specific things do you think worked from past games that took you down the stretch today?
I think our defense has significantly improved, especially with young kids. They need to learn to play with that physicality and that pace. They always talked about at the beginning of the year, we thought we were going hard. We didn't know what that meant. Now they go back and watch their high schools playing and are like, oh my goodness, it's a totally different level. So I think it starts with our defense and our effort and our intensity. And then we've just gotten better. We found our flow. We know what works on the offensive end. We have some incredibly talented players, whether that's, you know, Olivia Olson or Silas Swords. I mean, they're two of the best. I mean, and they haven't been recognized at the elite level, which I'm shocked about. And maybe people haven't done that because they're freshmen. But they got to be, I mean, take away the freshman status. They're two of the best guards in the country. And you add, you know, Mila Holloway in that mix, and she's been absolutely phenomenal. So the talent is there, and I think the confidence has grown with time. And then, you know, you add Jordan and Greta and their leadership and kind of what they've given to these freshmen. We're continuing to improve in all ways. Coach Justine said before the Big Ten tournament, or maybe it was after our last loss. It might have been after a loss against Iowa. She said the greatest thing about our team is we're still getting better every single day. Where most teams are reaching their peak, you know, we're not even scratching the surface. We are getting better every single day. And I think these last, you know, 2 weeks have really given us an opportunity to continue that improvement.
And then just for Jordan to get her career high in points tonight in this game, what's the feeling with that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to cry. I already said it. I spoke about her in the locker room. And I know every coach up at this podium would say that. But as a coach, you know, I think one of the greatest things in coaching and one of the things you love the most is to see kids have to overcome and to be successful. And Jordan and, you know, our kids don't believe what she went through because they're all babies. She didn't play her freshman year. I don't even think she got in the NCAA tournament. We went to the Elite Eight. So there were a lot of games. She didn't get off the bench. She started the bench mob, and she was the greatest teammate and the energy giver when she didn't play a minute. She didn't play much her sophomore year. And now for her to have 28 points in the NCAA tournament as a senior, holy cow, that's special. And that's what our program has been built on. And that's what we say at Michigan. And, you know, if you stay, you will be a champion. And I don't think there's, you know, any greater example than Jordan Hobbs.
Coach, thanks so much for the time.
Thank you.
Way to hold down the
they go in the locker room.
Post-game press conference. A reminder, if you weren't here earlier, just to please silence your cell phone, say your name and media affiliation prior to every question. If you're on Zoom, hit the raise your hand function. We'll get to you after we get to the questions. In-house photographs are welcome, but no flash photography, and then no recording of the press conference as well. We're welcomed by student athletes and Addie Brown and Audie Crooks and head coach Bill Fenley. And head coach, if you want to have an opening statement to get things started.
Quickly, on behalf of Iowa State, I really want to thank the committee for inviting us to this event, and I think we more than proved our worth. Thank you to the University of Notre Dame, their staff did an amazing job, everyone. So gracious, so helpful. I've been doing this a long time, one of the best situations we've ever had here, so thank you to all of them. Certainly want to congratulate Michigan. Outstanding basketball team, played very well. And I guess the last thing I would say is I really could not be more proud of our team. Obviously disappointed in the result of one game, but this team has done so much for our school, I think for women's basketball, for the Big 12, and probably more importantly, they've done a lot for me. As I get to the end, it's nice to be associated with people that do it the right way and represent themselves, their families, at our school. So it hurts today, but like I tell our teams all the time, don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened. And what happened to us was really special. So I hope they can embrace that when we get through this one.
Thank you, Coach. And with that, we open up the floor to questions for the student athletes first.
Tommy Birch, Des Moines Register, Addie and Audie. What do you guys both think of in terms of how the game played in terms of just constant, runs? It seems like every time you guys went on a run, they went on a run back and forth. What was that like?
It was a lot of fun, first of all. I enjoyed myself despite the results. But, yeah, you put it simply, it's a game of runs, and sometimes it ends in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. They were a fun, competitive team, but we threw our punches as well. It just came down to the wire, really.
Yeah, it was an exciting game. Lots of good basketball being played, lots of good players on both sides. I think everyone saw that today who watched. Just couldn't return some of their hits, and we stayed in there, fought all the way till the end, so just proud of our effort.
It felt like in the second quarter end of it, that's kind of when you hit your stride. What was kind of going right during that time frame?
I think we kind of settled down. First half, we were a little still just, I think, excited. We let them kind of rush us into some bad decisions. So second quarter came around, we got to slow down. I think we were really connecting inside in transition. I was bringing the ball up a little bit more and kind of just reading the help side, and we were able to create some things there.
What do you feel like allowed them to kind of get back into the game during that third quarter where they kind of heated back up?
They were just able to hit some shots, and I think they adjusted to our defense from the first half. They definitely made some adjustments and focused more on kind of an inside-out game. They worked the gaps in the zone pretty well, and that opened up the three-point line and even some mid-range, and they drove to the basket. Honestly, they scored on all three levels, so that's the adjustment that they made that allowed them to get a few more points.
Sam Gibson, Michigan Daily. Can you guys talk about the pace of today's game that Michigan presented to you guys and how you sort of approached that throughout the whole thing?
I mean, it was a quick-paced game. We knew that they were going to look to run the floor. It's what they do best. I think we handled it pretty well. We got back in transition. But, I mean, we knew we couldn't spend too much time crashing the boards because they were going to run it up the floor. So it was really hard to keep up with them, but I think we did a good job overall. And, yeah, they're a dangerous team when you let them get out in transition.
Connor Ferguson, Cyclone Fanatic. Audie, the first quarter, it looked like your teammates were having really tough times getting the ball inside to you, but something clicked in the second quarter where the rest of the game it seemed almost seamless. What happened with that?
I don't really know. I wasn't the one throwing the ball, but yeah, I mean, night in and night out, they do a great job of getting the ball inside, and certain teams just make it a little bit more difficult. So just a patience thing. I'm never going to harp on them because I know they're handling a lot of pressure on the ball, bringing the ball off the floor, and reading double teams and whatnot. So just, yeah, I don't know. They got it done, though.
Addie, I guess from your point of view, what changed with your guys' ball movement where Audie was getting so open after the first quarter?
Yeah, I think, again, just the first quarter we were rushed, and we rushed into some quick passes, whereas we had a little bit more patience in the second. And for myself, like, I really just had to throw in a ball fake first to kind of just see where the defense was going to come from and read it from there. And once I did that and just slowed down a little bit, it was easier.
Now that the season's done, how would you evaluate how it went for you guys, what you accomplished, and maybe what you would have wanted to accomplish?
I'm not gonna harp on too much what we would have, could have, should have done, because that's over. That's not gonna help us in any way, shape, or form. I'm sure that we all would like a few possessions back, but I mean, that's just not what we're about. So I think we had a really successful year. Got a lot of wins, showed up today, and all the times we played here in March. So super proud of this team as individuals and as a collective. I think that we competed. We wore the jersey with pride, and I'm not looking back on any regrets.
Yeah, just proud of us for sticking through it, through the the good and the bad. A lot of resilience this season, and people had a lot to say. So yeah, just stuck together through it all, and love these girls. So yep, just proud of us.
We're kind of talking to Emily Ryan in the hallway, and I know it's hard to look forward, but she said she's really excited about the future. how do you guys feel about, down the road too?
There's a lot to be done. There's a lot left to do. So we definitely look forward to that. And like Addie said, there's a lot of people that got a lot of things to say, but we care most about what's happening in our locker room. And yeah, we're just excited to get back at it, all the more to prove, and a lot more ball to play.
Yeah, really gonna miss her. Emily's presence. She's the ultimate teammate. So just gonna be really hard to see her go, but we'll do our best to continue to keep up what the program expects and what she expects from us, and we know she'll be in our corner forever. So just super grateful that we got to play with her, and yeah, we're excited for the future for sure.
Time for just one more question for the student athletes, if we have one.
Hi, Taylor Daniels, Michigan Daily. What was the challenge of facing Michigan when they were running 5 guards for most of the game?
It was different from our defensive philosophy, I think, because a lot of times in the Big 12 especially, we're matching up. There are some big, tall, strong post players, and they don't really operate that way. So I think that, kind of challenged us, I think maybe in the second half more so from the defensive end, but offensively I think we kind of took advantage of that on the interior.
Yeah, it goes both ways. I mean, it was kind of weird for us. We haven't seen that in our conference, really, 5-guard starting lineup. So they're all really talented. They're a great team, and we did what we could to stop that. And I think, again, like Audie said, it kind of, it was a mismatch on our side too. So, yeah, but just a great team overall.
Audie, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you.
And we can open up the floor to questions for Coach Fenley.
Bill, what was your message to the team afterward?
I don't. It's hard to give any kind of pertinent message after a game. Everyone's disappointed. I think the biggest thing is, number one, I thanked them. Number two, I told them I loved them, and number three, I told them that I've been blessed to be the head coach at Iowa State for 30 years, and this team is truly a team that I really, really enjoyed being around. I thanked them for the way they represented our school, and I told them we're not done. Clean the locker room, be gracious when you leave, deal with the media. Basically, the message that we give our team every game is you want to walk out of the building, no excuses, no regrets. And we don't have any. We played as hard as we could play against a very good team, evenly matched. We have a wide open shot to tie the game. If you look at the stats, they're eerily the same. We got outscored at the free throw line. But other than that, it was two teams I thought both played well, both played hard. It was an entertaining game for women's basketball. And this tournament is about 1 or 2 plays here and there, and they made them and we didn't, and that's a credit to them.
What are your kind of thoughts now in reflection mode when you look back on this season, and how would you evaluate what I'd kind of ask them what they accomplished, and how would you evaluate it all?
My evaluation is obviously going to be very different than most people, but I thought our team did everything right. They sort of joked, but they showed up. I think showing up is a skill in life. They showed up every day. They did things the right way. They won a lot of games. We played hard in a good league. We played a great schedule. We played in the NCAA tournament again. So I don't know there's a whole lot that I would go back and say, oh, we shoulda, coulda, woulda. We played a lot of younger players. Emily Ryan was in and out health-wise, and I think I just, from my standpoint, I could not be more proud of what they did, and I think they accomplished a lot, and that's all that matters is what they think, and I would agree with their sentiment.
I wasn't going to ask you this, but you had brought up, hey, I'm at the end of my kind of road.
Mm-hmm.
How does this type of team push you to keep going, or are you kind of, basically what I'm asking is, what are you saying when you are saying you're at the end of your road? What's that look like?
It means I'm 67 years old, and my time is about up. I don't know when. I really don't. I haven't really thought much about it. But it's just, this business has changed so much, and we're not going to go into all that. But I think what's happened with our team, and I can just speak for the people in our locker room, they have embraced the way that I believe Iowa State should do things. And that's been refreshing at a time when it's become so transactional. Our team is not that way. Now, who knows, when we go home and the portal opens on Tuesday, all hell could break loose. I mean, that's the world we live in. But it's just I've been really blessed to do what I do, and been blessed to be around so many phenomenal people. And, you know, I joke with my boss is sitting right there, so I got to be careful. I always say that when I leave my house, I'll know I'm going to drive by Vinker Golf Course, turn right to go to my office, or I'm going straight to her and Jamie's office and give them my keys. That's when it's going to happen. And I don't know when that'll be, but I just really have enjoyed what happened this year. Oh.
Hi, Taylor
Hi.
Daniels, Michigan Daily. You mentioned yesterday that Michigan's the first time you've played five
Yes, ma'am.
guards. What was the challenge of that going in, and how do you think it affected the game on both ends of the floor?
No, it was a tremendous challenge. They're very skilled, interchangeable parts. Obviously, it put us puts our defense at stress because there's not a matchup for Audie that she normally would guard. And I think what played out in the game is probably what we could have all sort of predicted. We had a really hard time guarding them, and they had a really hard time guarding us. And that's why the game was so close. The stats were close. They hit a couple big threes. They made a couple plays in transition. Like I said, we lost the free throw line battle, which is always big for us. So it kind of played out like we thought it would, as far as the styles. But I think it was entertaining, and probably both sides were like, "What are we going to do?" And they did it a little bit better than us.
How would you say that pace affected the game today?
I thought early we weren't as locked into their transition offense. We gave up a few things in transition, but their pace is it's not like frenetic, but it's quick, and I think we play sort of that way. So I don't know that it was a huge disadvantage. We gave up a couple transition shots because we didn't get matched up right. But other than that, I thought it was okay. Early, couple mistakes, but overall, I don't think that was a huge part of the game from where we were sitting anyway.
And then in the second quarter, Audie really got going. Did you see a shift that helped your offense get the ball to her more?
Yeah, I think we just, like they mentioned, we were trying to get in there way too fast initially, and I think we had 7 turnovers in the first quarter, and it was just one of the things we tell our team all the time is you got to see the play, and then you got to let the play develop, and not just, yeah, she's going to be open. It might take a second. And I thought in the second quarter we were much more patient. They weren't double teaming nearly as much as they did early. Addie Brown did a great job. Addie Brown's not a point guard, but we had a player there and facilitated our offense. But I think it was more, we were a little wound up at the beginning and tried to get it in there too much. But after that, it was pretty good.
Time for just one more question.
Sure. Sam Gibson, Michigan Daily. You're up 5 points at halftime.
Yes.
And then you played them pretty close throughout the third quarter. What's just your thoughts going into that final frame?
No, I mean, I think, when you play a game in this tournament, or any game, but especially this tournament, and you're playing a really good team, we tell our team, like, let's get to the fourth quarter and have a chance to win. That's what you want, and we did. And to Michigan's credit, they made some really big plays. They made a couple big shots that, were open, and we had a couple great looks that didn't go in. And, that's the beauty and the agony of this event. Sid's shot goes in or someone's shot goes in and theirs misses, the game is different. But that's the beauty of basketball and the beauty of, in my opinion, the greatest sporting event in our country. So Michigan deserves all the credit. It's a great team, well coached, very skilled, and they'll be a tough out for whoever wins the game going on right now.
Coach Fenley, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your time. Thank you for everything. Great job. Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you guys for coming. You guys travel home safe, okay?
Reminder that Hammond Communications posts a recording of this press conference online to the NCAA Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com, and transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Thank you.